Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. In today's creative art session I've decided to come outdoors in the lovely weather we're having and to do a creative art session. In this one it's going to be all about nature. So you're going to just need a few different things, and it's up to you what type of materials that you want to use. But you definitely going to need some paper, and then maybe a pencil or a rubber, but it's entirely up to you what you use. So what I've got that I'm going to be using is some chalk, some different coloured chalk, some paint pens, and I've even got, I was going to get some soft pastels, but instead I'm going to be using some oil pastels, some soft pastels as well. So let's get started. So, because this session's all about nature and the outside, I want to try and capture the natural things around us. So, what are the things that you say, what you consider is to be a part of nature? I'm going to give you a clue. You might be able to hear them in the background. I'll tell you what I can hear: birds tweeting, insects buzzing around, the leaves on the trees blowing in the wind. So for what I want to capture is nature on paper. So one thing that everyone can do at home is to say, either if you go on a nature walk near trees, or if you have any trees or plants in your back garden or in your garden, you can easily make an imprint of it. And it's and this is where you're transferring the grooves of the wood, of the tree bark, onto the paper. So for this one, I'm going to probably pick a few different pastels or chalk to do it. And what you need to do is you need to take your paper to the tree, lie it as flat as you can against it, and rub very hardly onto the paper, and that should bring up any of the grooves or the bumps of how the tree is. So let's go and try that out first. So I'm in Chapter 1 Tea Rooms Gardens, so on the outdoor area around the Hindley Library and Community Centre, and they've got this big tree at the side of the building, and it's got some lovely marks on the bark. So I'm going to try and capture it on my paper with my chalk. So let's try and get that. So I'm going to move you in a bit more closer so then you can see what I'm doing. So as you can see on this one, it's even got bits of moss growing on it because of where it's getting damp. So let's move you in. So I've got a few different ones here. So I'm going to again lie it as flat as you can onto the tree. And you're going to press as hard as you can on the paper to try and pick out the bumps and the markings of the tree. So I've got a yellow, copper, and it's good to rub different directions, so don't just go across, you can go up, go diagonal, and it picks up different marks. So I'm going to use a few more different colours and then I'll be back with you. So these are the markings that I've been able to pick up on the tree. And this you could use for any of your scrapbooking as a background to start off your page. So I'm going to take this now and I'm going to go and create some art with this. So what you can do with your piece of So what you can do now with your imprint of the tree, like I say, you can use it as background for your scrapbooking, or we're going to do some more art on this. So what I'm going to do now is, and what you can do at home, is look around for any twigs, fallen leaves, anything that you can find to do some nature art with. So I'm going to pick out some more twigs and some leaves, what I can find, and I'll be back with you. So what you can do now is I found this lovely twig, and you can draw around it to recreate it, or you can sketch it by observing it and looking at it and trying doing it yourself, or you can do what I'm doing. I'm going to place it down and just gently sketch around it. Now, this twig, you notice with nature, it's not always going to be flat, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flatten it down there so I can go around it. Take your time with doing any art. There's no rush whatsoever. It's up to you how you want it. There we go. So I'm just going to darken it up so then you can see it more. Now with this I'm going to extend on what I've drawn, because this now is going to be my tree in my drawing, and I'm going to add some leaves onto it. Now what I found, whilst I've been looking around, I found some of these leaves, you can see them, and we've done this before in a few of our sessions, is you can use any type of paint on it, and you can use your own paintbrush, or into what I'm going to use is these acrylic paint pens. You can paint into the grooves of the leaf, and then you place it down and it'll transfer onto the paper. So I'm going to do this a few different times to create the leaves on my tree. You can even draw around any of the leaves that you find and just place them on wherever you want on your page. You draw around them using anything you like to create the shape of it. The details. So you can do that, and I've been adding some dots on to create some of the textures and the looks of the leaves, to make the branches look more fuller. And here, if you can just about see this, I did a few of the imprints to see what I could get off the leaves. So if you're using any pastels or anything, especially soft pastels, they're very good for smudging. Now another thing that you could be doing is having a look around of where, if there's any flowers that you can spot. Now you don't want to be picking any, especially if they're in your garden, but go and have a look, and if you need to take a picture of them to see how they look, and then you could try and draw it on your paper. So I'm going to now have a look at some of the flowers that are growing at chapter 1 and see which one that I'm going to try and copy and put onto my piece of artwork. So there's these lovely pink ones where they've got a lighter middle, a fuchsia pink. These are quite nice. I might try and draw some of these and add 1 or 2 onto my paper. Now, one thing you've got to be doing when you're doing it, this is called a direct study. And when you're doing direct study drawing, you got to keep your hand moving, but constantly keep on looking back at what you're trying to copy. So you're not going to be looking right all the time at your paper, but you've got to keep on looking, checking. So then you can get more of the details out onto your paper. So I've got my flowers sketched now of what I did earlier, and I'm going to finish them off to complete this nature art. So with this one I'm going to be using a mixture of oil pastels, that one, and some chalk. So, and I might even chuck in a bit of the pink from these acrylic pens to make it pop. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get that lovely pink colour to show up. So I've got my 2 flowers now there. And I'm just going to continue now adding more and more different parts of nature on there. And there we have it. So I hope you enjoyed this little session, and I hope you all try and get outside, even if it's just in your garden, just for a few minutes, and have a good look around you and see what nature you can see. And hopefully you can capture it on paper like I've done today. See you soon, guys. Bye!